I'm a stats guy, so I do a lot of stat digging and everything else. And
He's our
and
IT
I,
guy.
yeah, and I just want to reiterate the fact that this isn't this is more for the fans that I see on like Twitter and all that stuff. I have a lot of faith in you. I'm not criticizing you at all, so don't take it as that because you increased the contributions like
You got there
728%.
Monday, Eric. We're gonna cut you some slack here, okay? But next Monday, it's better be locked.
Yeah. No, you did. He did. I read the article. I mean, since you joined Florida Victorious Foundation, contributions went up 728%. So I have a lot of faith in you anyway. So I feel like you should always strive for number one when you do something. And if you're not in the business, I mean, why are you in the business if you're not trying to do number one? According to CBS Sports, now these numbers could be off. So Florida right now sits at number 8 nationally in NIL, raising 15.8 million. Now those numbers could be fluctuate lower, higher. I don't know. I don't look at the accounts, so don't ask me. Number 2 is Ohio State. They just won a national championship and they've been in the playoff. Number 1 is Texas, who just made it to a playoff. The last top 5 class Florida had was in 2013, which was 12 years ago. The last double-digit winning season football had was in Florida was in 2019. Florida's never made it to a playoff since the playoff has been established. I feel as a fan, and I put this down personally for myself, if we can raise $400 million to get stadium renovations, we can at least raise 20 or so million for NIL. So, what I ask you, and this isn't a critical question or anything, what do you and Florida Victorious plan to do to take us to number one in the NIL revenue sharing era? Because I know it's new, so there's some kinks you have to go through. Surpassing Ohio State, surpassing Texas, getting us into the top 5 in recruiting, and hopefully one day getting to the number 1 recruiting class in America.
Yeah, because we blame you, Eric, for 2013. Just go ahead. Already sits after that. This is on you, Eric. I
Yeah.
know you're gonna get there Monday, but this is on you.
All you. It's all you. I blame you, okay?
Yeah, I actually love that question because our goal is to be number one. Just as you said, I mean, we're the Gators, so we need to be number one. One thing I'll say is that $400 million number that's pledged over 5 years. It's not $400 million cash. So
Divide that by
when schools say,
Mm.
yeah, so when schools say that they raised X amount, that's a pledge. Normally, the normal thing is 5 years. Sometimes schools will even go to 10 years if it's a big gift. So I just want that to be clear. Our numbers are cash in the door. So we do take pledges, but we don't really count money that way. We count it as we have it. But yes, as far as placement, that's probably pretty correct. We're between 5 and 10 NIL wise, I think. And we've got some really big. We've actually got a group called the Victors that I won't go into detail on, but we've got 12 people in that group that it's high end donors. The amount will probably knock you off your seat, but anyways, those people do a lot to help us. And then, like I said, we've been so focused on that side, and a lot of it's my fault because I was on that side. But we're moving to the membership side now. So the way that it works, like Gator Boosters, for example, everybody has to give a contribution to get their tickets, and that's kind of the annual thing where every year they know that money's coming in. So you've kind of got a baseline there, and then you've got major gifts, which is the $50,000 and above, and the major gifts fluctuate a lot. So we've been on the major gift side where it's just been fluctuating. So we've got a baseline with the members, and luckily for us, the fluctuations have all been up on the major gift side. So it's been going way up. But we need that baseline to grow because if we can, obviously we don't have tickets, but our version of tickets is Nick's content. So you can blame Nick if we don't do it. It's his fault.
I'm
But
down with
his his content, Bree's marketing of it, that's what's going to really grow us because I think we have a ton of room to grow there. I don't think we're going to be able to get it 7 or 8x like we have in fundraising, but I do think we could get it to 2 or 3 times what it is at least. And if we can do that, we're going to be number one. We just need to keep that going, and that's the crowdfunding type thing like we talked about. So we're hoping that what I teased with March 1, we're hoping that that'll help a little bit along with Nick and everything that he's doing. I know most of the Gator fans love Nick, so hopefully they keep showing their support of him.
Well, unless when he's negative Nick, they're big fans of Nick. Yeah, for sure.
He's positive Nick now.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. What's funny about Nick is like they'll call him negative Nick, but then the next day they love him still, so it doesn't even really matter.
I mean, look, he was spot on with Aiden Warner. Like, he can sling the football. Okay, I don't know why they held him to that standard, but look, Nick, we love Nick. Nick keeps it a buck. I've always said that. He does a phenomenal job, like I've said. And look, I think so you're kind of saying that March 1st is going to be that first initial sign of what's to come, of how Florida victorious in the NIL industry. Look, it plans to get to that number one spot. Look, great question, Dave. I think a lot of us have been put into Florida victorious for quite some time now, and like you said, we want to be number one. We're Florida. We carry ourselves. You're a Florida fan, like you said yourself. You know that we're obnoxious and crazy. Like, that's how we function. That's just what we do.
Well, one thing I'll say too is you're talking about football specifically there,
yeah.
but men's basketball gets NIL. What's happening there? Gymnastics gets NIL. Softball was the second sport we added. We added football first, then softball was right after that. Softball's number one with a freshman who's hitting a home run every time she gets up, pretty much. Baseball is number 7, and they've got NIL. So overall, I think the great thing about Florida is we are the everything school, right? So we're competitive in NIL in every sport, I believe, and not many schools can say that. A lot of the schools that are above us right now are just football focused, maybe just men's basketball, but we focus on all the sports, and we're really proud of that.
I know there was a stat line, I think Ben shared it, that we have the most NIL deals in just general for all sports. Now, I love seeing that. Here's why that excites me, because guess what? My season doesn't end like most people's seasons end in November or December, I guess you can say. Now, some people there goes into January, Eric, and we need to talk about that after the show, because I would like for our football season to go to January. But look, we get to continue on because of how great it's fun to watch. Like, I mean, we're pumped for basketball. Baseball's going to be exciting. Softball's going to be really good. Being alongside Texas and Oklahoma, can we stop the 4-peat or 9-peat, whatever Oklahoma's on? And I think that's where, look, this show is mainly for football, and that's where the focus is. And so that's where it always comes from. I can see the bigger picture of, and again, from a business perspective of like, it's doing really well from a grand scheme of things because of how awesome the other sports are doing. And I know everyone right now is being mad that I'm saying that, because they just, listen, they want to get into January, Eric. I'm letting you know, right? Listen, as much as I'm having fun in March and I'm going to have fun in April, I need a good January. Okay, please. I can only do it so long.
And even football wise, I mean, all the too early top tens are having us right now. Like, we're loaded talent wise, and we've all talked about this, but I mean, NIL has taken a while to build to where it is. Some schools kind of jumped out early, and we've caught up to them, and hopefully we're going to surpass them soon. But if you look at the young talent on our football roster, it's pretty amazing, and the guys that we retained.
Yeah,
That's a big deal as well.
I think a lot of people don't realize that like roster retention goes into NIL, so you need the funds for that, because if not, some other schools poaching them and taking them from you. So it is good though. I know a lot of people were talking about like, what did we do in the portal? It's like, well, we retained a whole bunch of guys, so what do we really need from the portal except for maybe a few spots? So hopefully that gets rectified in the spring. I mean, there's a spring transfer portal period that'll go away after this year, but at least we got that coming up. So who knows what will happen there.